Hello, this is Connie Swain, the connector, connecting you with the knowledge you need to get your home ready to sell. So today I'm going to walk you through the process of what you need to do to make sure you get the most money out of your investment. But first, before I get into that, please like and subscribe, like this video and subscribe to it so that you can stay in touch with all of the information I have out there regarding your real estate needs. The very first thing you really need to do is speak with a licensed realtor. Lately, there's been a lot of people that step up and say, I was a realtor in the past, or I'm a realtor in another state, and I can help you. I've helped someone a lot, and they want to charge you some sort of a fee. However, if they are not licensed by Texas Realtors, which it used to be called the Texas Association of Realtors, but if they are not licensed by that entity, it is illegal. So be very careful. They can help you, they can give you advice, but they cannot receive payment for those services. So make sure you speak with the licensed realtors. A lot of times it's really sad because people have such misconceptions about what realtors do or can do or how it operates that it ends up costing them money. So you need to understand how this works so that you can negotiate the best sale. Some realtors will charge adjusted commissions. So let's say you have a 6% commission. Everybody's heard of that, a 6% commission. The way that breaks down is the person who actually puts your house on the market, that lists that house, that puts it into the MLS and markets it to the public, they get 3%. Then the agent who brings the buyers to your home, they get 3%. So it's a 3%, it's 6% total, 3% to each agent. Now that's negotiable, okay? But that listing agent doesn't necessarily get to keep all of that 3%. And most agents have no problem telling you how that breaks down. But keep in mind, they are commission based, so they always have to pay Uncle Sam out of that. So even though it may seem like a large amount of money, they usually have their advertising expenses, marketing, just their expenses to maintain their license, and then of course paying the IRS out of that, as well as probably some brokers or other fees. So keep in mind, they don't necessarily just keep the 3%. A lot of times when people list their house for sale by owner, they do so because they think they can get out with more money. And that's not always the case. There's some very savvy buyers that will approach them and negotiate different things with them. And because they did not have a realtor, they didn't have the knowledge they need to negotiate back in a proper manner. So make sure you are very familiar with this process before you try to list it as a for sale by owner. There's also a lot of challenges that come up with lenders and other things. So make sure you know what you're doing. Another thing you'll see is there's a lot of brokerages and a lot of online things that only charge 1%, or they'll buy your house from you. Some people, that is their best option. A lot of times what happens when people, we call them iBuyers, they're actually the ones that buy the home from you. They're actually investors that are going to take your property and they're either going to renovate it and rent it out, or renovate it and resell it. And that's not a bad thing. It's just that you're not going to necessarily get out with as much money as you think you're going to get out with because of fees or repairs or things of that sort. And the iBuyers sometimes though are the best option. If you have to get out of your home quickly, let's say you're not able to make your payments any longer, you're about to go into foreclosure, an iBuyer may be able to step in and purchase your home and save your credit so that you can move on with your life. or they may come in if your home has a lot of damage. They may be able to come in and get you out of that home so that you can move on, and then they can take care of the damage. So they're not always a bad thing, but you have to understand what they are. And again, a good realtor is more than happy to sit down with you and walk you through all of the different options. And a good realtor, a really good realtor, doesn't mind helping you find an iBuyer if that is your best resource, because they know that you have challenges and you need, you've got to get out of your home, or you have to do something, you have to make a move. So they can help you with that. Another thing on for sale by owners that really can be problematic is sometimes the sellers do not know how to vet the buyers. So a good realtor, or some realtors, will actually vet buyers to make sure they're qualified to purchase that home before they let them in your home. So if you've got a fairly expensive home, let's say it's 500,000, 400,000 to 500,000 on up, you don't want just anybody walking through your home. So a good realtor will be able to vet that buyer, make sure they have proof that they can purchase that home, which is either proof of funds that they can purchase and pay cash, or they'll have a pre-approval letter from a lender. They will also know, or should know, if it's a legitimate lender. People are getting so savvy now. Sometimes they will put some random bank name on a letterhead and say they're pre-approved for a loan, and the loan company doesn't even exist. So a good realtor can vet that out. And that way you're not left holding the bag if someone comes in and tries to scam you. So it's always good to have a good realtor to help you with the sale of your home. And before you ever list it though, one of the first things you should do is go through everything. Start decluttering. Look at stuff you want to sell. Anything you don't need, pack away. Pack it up and put it in storage, or stack it out in the garage, but get it out of your home. I've had people that they don't want their home staged. They don't want to clean out. They don't want to do those things. And it hurts their bottom line. You can only get the most for your home, the most money for your home, if it really looks good. And so allow your agent to walk you through the things that you need to do so that you can get the most money out of your home. If a buyer comes in and sees clutter, you might not think it's clutter. Maybe you're a collector, but to a buyer, it's clutter. It raises questions in their mind about how well you care for your home, because it's cluttered. So make sure you're open to your agent and let them be honest with you about what you need to do. You want to get as many photos off the wall and off countertops. You want to make it look almost sparse. In order to be able to get the most money out of your home, a buyer needs to be able to walk in and see themselves in your home. So make sure you start getting rid of your stuff. Declutter, pack away, have a garage sale, have an estate sale, and get all kinds of, everything you do not need out of your house. You don't have to worry about getting boxes. You can stack them up in the garage or out in some sort of a storage shed, but get them out of your home. I knew one lady that was getting her home ready to sell, and she cleaned out as much as possible, even leaving just the plates in the cabinet that she would absolutely need. So everything else that she didn't use on a regular basis got packed away. And that you should do that. When you do get a contract and you're getting ready to move, that will also make your life a lot easier if you've packed up most of your belongings. The next thing to do is do a deep clean. If you can't do it yourself, hire someone to come in and do a deep clean. You want to make sure and get all the ceiling fans cleaned off, the light switches, the smudge marks on the doors and the doors handles, the baseboards. Make sure all your TVs and everything are clean. Any of your air vents, your AC heat and air vents, you want them good and cleaned up. Stove tops, blinds and curtains. I know sometimes I've known of some people that actually go ahead and take their curtains down, especially if the curtains match the bedspread, because most contracts state that window coverings stay. So take them down. Just go ahead and take them down so that you can have that open space, and you want to allow as much light into your home, natural light into your home as possible. Make sure you clean off the light fixtures. Just put a good clean in your home or on your home. Another thing that people don't understand is that every home has a smell. Every home has a smell, and it's unique to the people. If you have pets, 95% of the time, you're going to have pet smells of some sort. So be aware of that and clean and keep the areas where your pets are as clean as possible. Keep your bathrooms clean. If you live out in the country, get your septic pumped a month or so before you list your home. And let me tell you why. Because if you have a septic system and it's full, the smell will start coming into the house. You can't do anything about it. So you want to get it pumped out so you don't have to risk that. But you don't want to pump it and then it sell quickly and it's empty or almost empty. That makes it hard for an inspector, because an inspector has to have a fairly full septic tank, or at least some amount of waste in there in the septic, to test and make sure it works properly. So go ahead and get it pumped. Most people, some septic systems are different than others. So see what is recommended for your septic as how long or how often it needs to be pumped. Go outside and see if you have any smells around your house. If it's your neighbors, you can't do much about it. But if you have any standing water or anything else that could lead to a smell, try to get it cleaned out. And if during the course of your listing, for some reason you decide to cook fish, or we like to cook what we call here in Texas salmon patties, then make sure you air your house out. I don't care how cold or hot it is. Open a window and dump all the grease into a seal tight container. Don't just pour it in the trash, because it'll still carry a smell. And then light candles, do whatever you need to do to get rid of that fish smell. One of the biggest turnoffs for buyers is to walk in and there's a bad smell or a bad odor and they can't tell where it comes from, because then it makes them suspect about what's behind the walls or what's really going on in the home. So you want to eliminate as many odors as possible. Now, if you have cats, you need to be real with yourself about that. A lot of people are allergic to cats, and your agent will more than likely list animals in the listing. They will say animals present on the property. Sometimes they'll specifically say cats, because it is a bad thing if someone walks into your home and your cat scampers across and they start going into a really severe allergic reaction because they cannot be around cats. So know that. They may not buy your house because you have cats. I've known of people that they understood that because of other family members, and they literally had family members keep their cats during the time that their home was listed, and then they cleaned their house real good, got rid of all the evidence of cats, so that when people came in, they didn't see the cat. Now, they may have sneezed a time or two because maybe there was some pet dander, but they cleaned it real good as best they could to try to get that home sold. So just keep all those things in mind. The next thing is make repairs. When you have your home listed and you get a contract, the buyer is going to get an inspection done, okay? And if they get that inspection done, they're going to get a big report, and that inspector is being paid to tell that buyer everything that is wrong with your house. Every ding, every nick, everything that's leaking, everything. So to keep that from being a bad experience, Go ahead and fix things. If you do not have the GFI plugs in your kitchen and bathroom, call an electrician and get those changed out. Make sure everything, and your agent can help you with this as well. You want to make sure everything is quote unquote up to code. If you live in the city limits, especially if you live out in the country, go ahead, because even though you may not have codes in the country, an inspector will note that something was not installed according to proper procedure, and they may require that you get it fixed. I had a situation recently where a hot water heater had been installed many years before, and the hot water heater worked fine. However, the installer set it on the floor inside the garage. Well, 10 years ago, they changed those requirements to make it illegal for it to be set on the floor, especially if it's a gas hot water heater. And the reason is because it's a fire hazard. Because a lot of people store cans of gasoline in garages, the gasoline fumes settle to the floor of the garage, and when that pilot light kicks on, it could ignite those fumes. So the seller had to go and have not only a new hot water heater installed, because this one was older, but had to have it installed up to modern day codes. So if you go ahead and get someone, even ask your agent if you should get a pre-inspection, pre-listing inspection. If you do that, you can get those things fixed, mark down what has been fixed, and then the agent can even hand that off to the new buyer and say, here's an inspection, and here are all the things that were fixed. They may still get an inspection on their own, but at least they know you were diligent enough to go ahead and get those things fixed. If you don't do a pre-inspection and you wait to see what the inspector comes up with is wrong, you cannot do any of the repairs yourself unless they're really minor. It is written into the contract, you have to have a licensed contractor do the work. So even though you may work for an electrician and you know how to do electrical work, you cannot do the work yourself. It has to be done by a licensed electrician. So keep that in mind. So it's always better to go ahead and do it beforehand. Also, make sure your gutters are cleaned out. Any loose doorknobs or cabinet pulls are tightened up. Any broken windows or doors, screens, any of those things, go ahead and get them fixed. Plus, even if you've had your roof repaired, if you have evidence of a previous leak on your ceiling, please go ahead and get that painted and fixed. That, because when people see that, then they're questioning, oh my gosh, is there a leak? And then you have to prove to them that the leak was fixed. So go ahead and get that covered up and fixed. So that's it. So at the very end, when you're getting ready, keep in mind that a clean and well-kept home always sells for more money and more quickly. It doesn't have to be absolutely perfect, but if a buyer comes into your home and sees that it's clean and neat, then they know you have taken good care of your home. So go ahead and get a deep clean and get all things in order and straightened up and start cleaning out drawers and all that sort of thing. That way, when you do get it listed, then you're not behind the 8 ball trying to get things cleaned up and done. If you can afford to update, go ahead and paint that bright orange wall a neutral color. You may not need to paint the whole house, but if there's something that is very taste specific, fix it. You may not be able to afford to get all new carpet, but keep in mind, if your carpet or your flooring is in bad shape, they may request an allowance to get that repaired, or they may give you a lowball offer on your home. But if you can afford to get things updated, do so, because you will make more money on the sale of your home. Also, if you have any light fixtures or anything like that that you're going to take with you, go ahead and change them out before you list your home. If you have grandma's chandelier over your dining room table and you don't want to get rid of it, take it out, because if a buyer sees it and likes it, they will ask for it. And you can say no, but if they never even see it, then they don't even ask for it. So go ahead and get that changed out. Now, to stage your home, if you've got someone who's really good at decorating, have them maybe help you a little bit. But one of the things, if you can't afford to hire someone to do it, or you don't know of anybody, get on the internet, on the home sale sites, and start scrolling through some of the more expensive homes, more expensive than yours, and look at the pictures. If you can mimic or copy some of the way those houses are staged or set up in your home, it will make a big difference. But keep in mind, it's got to be sparse. Not, sometimes people like the rustic look. There's nothing wrong with the rustic look, but if you've got it overdone in your home, it's going to turn people off who are more of a contemporary style. So you want to pare it down as much as possible. Now, do not forget the outside. You may have the best home, the most beautiful home in the world, but if someone has to walk through a mess to get to the front door, it turns them off, because it kind of puts them in a bad mood, and they walk in and they think, well, if they can't take care of the yard, why can't they take care of the inside of the house? So make sure you've got some good curb appeal. You don't have to do a lot. If you don't want to plant a bunch of plants, get pot plants and set them around. But make sure you keep your lawn mowed and clean and free of clutter and debris. Do not make your buyers walk over dog mess or dog poop while they're trying to get into your house. Keep it picked up, keep it cleaned up, keep the kids' toys picked up and put out of the way. You may have a challenge with where to put them, but set them over to the side so that that's not the first thing people see when they walk up. You want them to feel very welcome. You want it to be very inviting when they pull up. Now, if you have a large property, or let's say you're on acreage or a very large lot, and you have outbuildings or like a shop or a storage building or something, don't forget to clean around that as well. Make sure you mow and weed eat around it. If you can put some pots out there to dress it up, do so. Also straighten it up, because buyers they're not just buying your home, they're buying that outbuilding as well. So if they open the door and boxes are piled so high they can't see what's in there, then that can be problematic. So try to straighten it up as much as possible so they can get a feel for what that building is like. On your well and septic system, the inspector will inspect both of those systems. So if you have a challenge or a problem with your well, make sure you get it fixed, or your septic system. Sometimes there's aerobic septic systems, and those are the kinds that have sprinklers that pop up. Okay, and people are always running over their sprinkler heads. Get them fixed. Or maybe they have cows or larger animals, and the donkeys go out and kick the head off. So make sure you get those things fixed before you even list your home. Now, once you're ready to list your home, your agent will sit down and walk you through what all is involved. But keep in mind that once it gets into MLS, that information, those pictures are going to filter out onto the internet. So you're going to have people all over looking at your home on the internet. So if there's anything that is personal or private in your home that you don't want in those pictures, remove it before the photographer gets there. You may love your picture of you nursing your baby. The world doesn't need to see that. Take it down, and you can go get a cheap picture at Hobby Lobby or some other Tuesday morning or something and replace it. So make sure you have those kind of things out of the way. I had one where someone had lost an infant, and they had pictures taken at the memorial service of their infant that had passed, and it creeped my buyers out so bad they walked out of the house. It's precious to you, but not to the rest of the world. Just put them away. So it's really important that you do that. Also, your agent will work with you to price your home right. That is probably one of the biggest challenges I think I face. I and what I mean by that is I have gone to a lot of training, and I work really hard to do the homework to come up with a good price, a fair price for your home. I want you to get every dollar out of your home that it's worth. So I look at the previous sales and what the market's doing at the time. There's a lot of factors that go into that. However, a lot of times the challenge comes when I have sellers who think their home is worth a lot more than the market will bear. Let me put it that way. So they insist on a higher price. The home sits on the market forever, and we have to just continually drop the price. And what ends up happening is a lot of times it doesn't even get what we thought it would in the beginning, because it has sat on the market so long. People get burned out of it, or burned out from looking at it, and so they won't offer what it's really worth. And the sellers are so anxious to get it sold that they just accept the offer. So make sure you bite the bullet and price it right. Keep in mind, a home, you can get an appraisal and it can say that it's worth a certain amount, but a home is only worth what someone is willing to pay for it. And if you can't get anybody to buy it for that price, then it's not worth the price you thought. So make sure you're realistic about that. Get ready, set, and show. Now keep in mind, your house, you never know when it's going to show. Some people want like 24 hours notice. I have done that in the past because of people, especially day sleepers. If they work nights and they have to sleep during the day, sometimes it's really hard because they can't show their home in an hour because they're dead asleep. So that can be done. However, it turns a lot of buyers off from looking at your home because people are impulsive. They see a home on the internet, they call the realtor, they want to look at it in an hour. Usually 2 hours is kind of fair, but your house could show at any moment. So every single day, make sure it's picked up, the beds are made, everything's clean or cleaned up. I mean, there could be a little bit of dust here and there, but don't leave dishes in the sink. Don't leave your dirty clothes in the floor. Just make sure it's picked up and clean. And also make sure it smells good. Go outside and walk back in, paying attention to the smell. If you have to open up all the windows to air it out a little bit and spray a whole lot of spray, do it so that it smells as good as possible. Now, the final three things, keep in mind there are three things that always affect your home: location, price, and condition. So the location of your home, you can't do anything about it, but that goes back to pricing your home. If you have the worst house in the best neighborhood, you're going to get more for your home. If you take that exact same house and put it in the worst neighborhood, you're going to get a lot less for your home. So be realistic about those kinds of things when you're talking to your agent. Now, pricing condition, you can do something about. I know I've heard the comment a lot from seasoned agents that you can test the market. So let's say the comps show that the home is worth $235,000 and you think it's worth $250,000. Well, sometimes agents may go ahead and list it at $250,000 to test the market to see what kind of response they get. However, if they don't get a lot of showings or activity right off the bat, they may want to start lowering that price on a regular basis, which you should do until you do start generating the activity. Now, condition is the third thing. Take care of your home. Take good care of your home over time. If you have a home in good condition and you have updated it throughout time, if you may have lived there 45 years, but if you've replaced the countertops with granite, or you've updated the floors, you're going to get more for your home than a home that is obviously from the 80s. That's just a given. So take good care of your home. Always do the suggested maintenance and take care of it and honor your home and your yard, and you'll make a lot more money on your property. Now, that's all I have to say about that today, and I would love to help you sell your home. If you've got any questions, please give me a call, but make sure also to like and share and subscribe to this channel so that you can stay up with all of the real estate information. This is Connie Swain, the Connector, and I hope you have a great week.